Which of the following best describes an advanced persistent threat APT? A short-term attack focused on immediate financial gain, an insider threat who gains unauthorized access to the company's network, a prolonged and sophisticated attack aimed at a specific target, or a random attack launched by a script kiddie hoping to find vulnerabilities. I think C.
Yeah, I would definitely go with C.
Yeah.
They're usually I can't even say that word.
Persistent.
Sophisticated, and they usually have persistence.
All right.
Which of the following best describes an advanced? Oh, we already did that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is a major advantage that insider threat actors have over external threat actors? They have more advanced hacking skills. They know the inner workings of the network. They have access to unlimited financial resources. They have the ability to shut down an organization manufacturing process. I would go with B. They know the
Same.
inner workings of the network.
Yeah. Yep. What distinguishes nation-state threat actors from other types of threat actors? They primarily focus on financial gain. They are mostly insiders within an organization. They are government entities with significant resources, or they are motivated by political or social messages. I think it's D.
I think that would be a hacktivist. I think a nation state is more so of a government.
Oh, government. Yeah.
Yeah.
So see. For some reason, political just meant government to me. I'm a big conspiracy theorist. That's why. But yeah, see. What is a hacktivist? Well, you just said this one. A threat actor who runs simple scripts to gain access to a network. No, a threat actor that is an insider and has control over the network. Yeah, I know. A threat actor who's a hacker with a purpose, commonly associated with a political or social message.
See.
Yeah, we don't even have to read D.
Nah.
Which of the following best describes script kiddie? A hacker who is both malicious and politically motivated? No, a professional criminal who is motivated by financial gain? An employer contractor who has a lot of control over the organization's network? Or an attacker who may not have the knowledge or experience to gain access and run simple scripts to infiltrate a network? I think we all kind of know what a script kiddie is, right?
I think they
I've
are.
never heard
Everyone
of it, but I'm
does.
gonna pick D.
Yeah, it's D.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a script kiddie. That's the definition of a script kiddie.
Which of the following is a threat actor that is almost always motivated by a financial gain and often structured like a normal business? Script kiddie, nation state, hacktivist, organized crime.
Organized crime.
Yeah, I agree. Which of the following is a threat actor that is both a hacker and an activist? Insider threat, script kiddie, hacktivist, organized crime.
Well, C.
C.
C?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'm playing. It's kind of name, right?
I know, right?
Go ahead, Cap.
Which of the following threat actors is usually motivated by financial gain? Organized crime. Financial gain. I would say D. Or is it nation? Can't remember. Organized crime. Yeah, I would go organized crime.
Yeah. I feel like we just had this question.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Oh man, I hope the questions on the real test at least easy.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which of the following? No, well, yeah, no. You're only gonna get like 24 questions from this, from these, from all these questions. So it could be randomized from 180 of these questions. But yeah, you'd only be doing like 24. So hopefully you get 24 easy ones. Because there's
All right.
you've seen the objectives, right, Kat? But for the other guy,
Yeah.
since you're new, CompTIA has like an objectives list where it tells you everything that's going to be on the test. If I remember correctly, there's 24 questions for vulnerabilities, attacks, and what is it, Kat?
Um.
So
Threats.
threats, yeah,
Yeah.
attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities, architecture and design, governance, risk and management, something like that. Implementation,
Yeah. That's like the
operations,
hardest
and
one.
yeah, it is, and operations, and incidents. So, so yeah, there's gonna be like 20 for each one, leading up to like basically 90 questions. in
3,
total.
4, and 5. The main 3, 4, and 5 are like the little more difficult ones.
Yeah.
Which of the following is a semi-unauthorized hacker? A nation-state threat actor, an organized crime threat actor, a script kiddie threat actor, a hacker who is more of a researcher. A semi-authorized hacker. So semi-authorized, what basically has some privilege.
The
So,
hacker who's more of a researcher.
wouldn't that be like more knowledge? A nation state threat actor. I think we could rule A out. An
Yeah.
organized
Like,
crime threat actor. We can definitely.
oh,
I think we could roll B.
no.
I feel like it's B or D.
Well, organized crime, they're gonna always do it for a bad purpose because it's crime. Or script kiddie is gonna do it because they don't really know what they're doing, so they aren't
That's
even.
D for sure then.
Yeah.
Okay. Semi
Okay.
authorized hackers are individuals who may be looking for vulnerabilities in a network, but do not necessarily act on those vulnerabilities.
Yeah, they might see it and be like, "Oh,
Oh, you know what?
I can break this, but I
didn't
won't."
I didn't register what that meant exactly, but someone's mic is acting up.
That's probably mine.
It's like buzzing out.
Yeah.
But seeing
Yeah, it
the
makes more sense that when you think of it like they're somewhat authorized to be looking around finding vulnerabilities, so they're researching.
More
yeah,
like a bug hunter.
So
Bug
yeah.
bounty. Yeah.
or like an ethical hacker.
Yeah.
What is the primary risk associated with a shadow IT in an organization? Increase efficiency, improve collaboration between departments, security risks, and non-compliance issues, better understanding of IT policies. Okay.
No, this one could be tricky.
C.
I think C. Because so it's basically saying what is the primary risk associated with shadow IT, and shadow IT is something like well, it's in the name, right? So it's something that's like masking itself, something that's trying to stay hidden. IT.
I don't even know what shadow IT is, but if you look at all answers, only one of them sounds bad.
Yeah, I mean better understanding of IT's policies, but how do you better understand?
That's not a risk. It's a benefit.
I don't know, I'm not really understanding the question. Sometimes Josh McAdor, I notice with a lot of these questions that he's made, I just feel like he could elaborate a bit more, but
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so C, it wasn't D, but it was C. It's
Okay.
security risks and non-compliance issues. That's what I was thinking. Security risk and non-compliance issues. Shadow IT refers to the practice of bypassing the official IT department and creating a separate IT entity within an organization. This can lead.
So would that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Would that be like saying, okay, I work on servers, and it's okay if I use this resource and post my website on their server without them knowing?
Not sure.
Uh,
The way I was interpreting it is like, let's say Google we know about Google and they have their like IT department. Well, Google's
Mhm.
going to have like a secret IT department as well for whatever reason. Shadow
Okay.
IT refers to the practice of bypassing the official IT. Okay. But so let's here. Let me chat GPT. What is a shadow IT? So shadow IT refers to the use of information technology, systems, software, or services within an organization without the explicit approval, knowledge, or control of the IT department. It often involves employees or departments utilizing unauthorized or unapproved technologies and solutions to meet their specific needs or preferences, which can pose security compliances and integration risks to the organization. So a shadow IT is set up within the organization, correct?
Hmm.
It sounds like it's just someone going. Like I'm looking at Messer's notes. It sounds like it's someone going rogue and just doing shit without IT approval.
Okay, so they're
So
not even approved to begin with. They're
yeah, it's just
just
someone thinking they know IT and saying like, oh, this software's fine. I use it at home. Let me just download it.
Mm.
so what? Why say shadow IT though? Because when I think of IT, I'm thinking like an organization,
Like a group.
like a group,
Yeah.
correct? Why not just say shadow person? you know, or shadow individual? It's saying shadow
I mean, it could
IT.
be a group too, a group of IT people who do IT. They know that
Yeah,
they're
the
not supposed
marketing
to be
department just
using.
out there
Yeah, they know they're not supposed to
fucking
be using.
around.
Oh, you know what? It's because it's saying shadow IT because it's broad, right? Meaning it could be a system, a software, or a service within the organization
Okay.
Mm.
that's being controlled by the person that is
Cool.
basically exploiting the system in itself. Uh, that's how I'm interpreting it, but let's move on. Which of the following best describes an advanced persistent threat? A short-term attack? No. An insider threat who gains unauthorized access to the company's network? A prolonged and sophisticated attack aimed at a specific target? Just gonna stop there. I think it's
Yep.
C. You want to read this one? What's your name? There you go.
Me.
You.
Soft. I can
Soft.
read. Um, what is one of the primary motivations behind a competitor threat actor's action against your business? Political or social message, financial gain, gaining experience in hacking, or ethical hacking. What is one of the competitor? I think it'd be A or B. Probably leaning more towards B. Uh,
I agree.
if it's a competitor, want to gain a financial edge. So
In
I would go
business
A. I
stems
think they're
from.
trying to embarrass them so that people won't use their services. They would say, "Oh, their
that's true.
security's weak. Don't go here because your credit cards aren't safe." I agree with you though.
Competitor
I'm between
Let me
A and B.
hold on.
action.
Let's see what a threat actor is again. I think that's what's kind of throwing us off. So a threat actor is um a group or entity that poses a potential risk to security systems or network. Threat actors can include hackers, cybercriminal organizations, nation state
What was
actors, insiders with a malicious intent. They may have employed various tactics such as yeah, I mean, I don't see how that would I mean cuz the primary motivation would behind a competitor and they're competing, right? Against your
Mhm.
business could be finance or I would think it's just finance. But let's what's your guys' final answer?
A.
Okay.
I'm gonna go B, just to be
Yeah, I
B.
understand.
Catman, your mic is it's good now. Okay, we were right. B. Financial gain
don't
competitors
know
are
why I
motivated by
keep saying
financial gain as they aim to harm your business or reputation, potentially leading to their own increased profit or marketing shares. By distributing or disrupting your operations or stealing valuable information, they can improve their own position in the industry. Cool. Which of the following threat actors is primarily motivated by financial gain and often has a well-structured organization similar to a legitimate business? Hacktivist, strip kitty, organized crime competitor. I mean, this one should be easy. Welcome, Bananables. I see you unmuted your mic. Would you
B.
like to answer this question?
It's gotta be B. No, I'm just kidding. It's C.
I agree.
The old
The
script
answer
kitty.
is W.
Which of the following threat actors is primarily motivated by financial gain and often has a well-structured organization similar to a legitimate business?
We just had this one.
This was yeah. What the hell?
It's
Sorry,
the
it's
same
script kitty this time.
Which of the following threat actor categories is likely to have a lower level of sophistication in its attacks, but it's doing it anyway?
Not even talking.
Maybe you could put a push to talk.
Let me see.
That could fix the problem. Okay, so which of the following threat actors or threat actor category is likely to have a lower level of sophistication in their attacks but poses insider knowledge of the organization's network and security tools? A nation state, a hacktivist, insider, organized crime. I think an organized crime could have probably the most like impact. A hacktivist, also an insider. Hacktivist.
It's got to be C.
Yeah, because of the insider knowledge of organizations, network, and security tools.
Why wouldn't it be nation state?
I don't know what a nation state is, but question says it's posing insider knowledge, so it's got to be an insider.
I'm thinking as well, like with the nation state, that might have a higher level of sophistication in their attacks. It might be more organized, or like, yeah, that's my train of thought.
Okay, let's go with C. An insider threat actor may not have the same level of sophistication in their attacks as other threat actors, but they have the advantage of knowing the organization's network design, security tools, and where the data center is located. Nice. What threw me off was just not knowing what a nation state was. Bananas, your mic.
My mic.
It's not me.
Yeah, it sounds like an AC in the background or something. Like
Yeah, nation state. Looks like government, national security sort of stuff.
Yeah, I chat
let's
GPT.
see.
I see it all here.
Yeah,
You
some
wanna read
high
this?
level shit.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. You want to read this one?
Yeah, according to the text, which threat actor category is primarily motivated by financial gain and often has access to significant resources? Hacktivist, script kiddie, organized crime, or competitor?
I would say either A or C,
Uh,
but C. Well, hold on. Primarily motivated by financial gain. Oh, so
yeah,
D.
C.
No,
I
it'd
think
be
that's
D.
the key there.
It'd be D.
Oh,
Because
I think it's C.
C. Organized crime.
Uh,
It's access to significant resources.
well, I think if a competitor is motivated by financial gain, uh, organized crime, I mean, they're also motivated by money. But I think the key here after that is has access to significant resources. Organized crime, group of people all doing this all the time.
That makes a lot of sense.
compared to a competitor. You know,
an organized crime could be a competitor, you know?
that is true.
So C
I
just
think
sounds like the better answer.
a competitor will go more for like their resources as well, like their special, I don't know, secret sauce that they make or something like that.
Yeah, I think if they
Like
stopped at
Krabby Patty.
I think if they stopped at primarily motivated by financial gain, period, it would have been competitor. But since they added the often has access to significant resources, it has to be organized crime. Yep. Which of the following is a direct access vector or direct access attack vector that allows an attacker to capture user input data from a keyboard? Okay. I think we all know this one. We don't have to go too
The
in depth with it. Wait, you said what?
C.
Yeah.
C's get degrees.
Agreed. Which of the following attack vectors poses a specific threat to wireless networks and can trick users into connecting to a malicious access point?
B.
Okay.
B.
B.
I agree. Which of the following is a common email-based attack vector utilized by threat actors? Attaching keyloggers to keyboards, rogue access points, supply chain, or phishing links and malicious attachments. I think we all know this one as well.
Yep.
B.
Wait, you said B or D?
D.
B?
D. As
D.
in
I agree.
Dimebag Daryl.
Okay, which of the following describes an attacker or an attack vector that took advantage of the supply chain in 2013 credit card breaches from Target? A USB drive was used to bypass security controls. A rogue access point was connected to the network. A vendor with access to Target's internal network was compromised. Social media information was used to reset passwords.
Vendor.
B.
It was the HVAC.
I think it's either B or C.
I would say C. Sorry, it was the HVAC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's C, but a good way, if you haven't heard of it, is find the key point in the question, and that being like took advantage of the supply chain. So find an answer that has to do with the supply chain of Target, and that would be like the vendor
Yeah.
that Target was using as part of their supply chain.
Another funny way too is seeing what sentence is longer. We've kind of noticed the longer sentences are always the right ones. Like for instance,
Oh damn, you just ruined it for me.
look at that one. So like this
C.
would probably be C. Maybe though, not all the time, but 90% of the time. Which of the following social media attack vectors could be used to compromise multi-factor authentication? We'll start with C, getting information about a person's birthplace or school mascot from their profile. Let's read the other ones. Attaching a keylogger to a keyboard, inserting an infected USB drive into a computer. Okay, well, I think it's going to be
Yeah.
C, because C's the only one talking about social media. Which of the following is a direct access attack vector that involves the use of removable media device? We'll start with D, infecting a USB drive and using it to transfer data. That sounds right.
That is right.
What is crack? I'm not quite familiar with that.
So crack, it says here, crack is a key reinstallation attack. It's a vulnerability found in WP2A or PA2 networks that allows attackers to gain access to encrypted data. This is a wireless network attack vector and not related to removable data. Let me write that down because that's actually good to know. Not really sure if this is on the objectives, but it's good to be well-rounded, you know? Which of the following is an attack vector associated with a cloud-based application? Attaching a keylog to exploiting an air gapped network with a USB drive. No, deploying an evil twin. No, I think D. misconfigurations leading to an unauthorized access.
Yeah,
It
I
just
agree.
seems like the most logical one. Not just so if so yeah, when this kind of happens and it becomes like a whole streak of like the longer sentences being the answer, what I think is best we should do is kind of like break down why we think it's the answer. Um
Sounds good.
yeah, so for instance here, misconfigure so yeah, which of the following is an attack vector associated with cloud-based applications? An attack vector is what? I know I have it here in my notes.
It's like the scope of, I wouldn't say the scope, but it's like how you can attack it. So I can attack through SSH, I can attack through such and such, I can attack through here. There's a lot of different ways you can attack.
Hmm,
Yeah, like the method of attack.
right. Okay.
So it can't be. I mean, we're talking about cloud, so it can't be A, can't be C. So I don't know anything about air gap network with a USB drive. So
So
But
air
that
gap
sounds
would
pretty
be,
physical.
yeah, you have to be physically there to do it. You can try to do it through the wires if it doesn't, like the EMI. So you can try to like capture the frequencies from the wires.
I think actually, Kat, you're best suited for this explanation because you have your home lab and which is in the cloud. So could you say that any sort of misconfiguring on the cloud could lead to any breach of
Yes,
data?
if you misconfigure your settings, so like when you're setting up, let's just say SSH for instance. I was pressing V and it's like going crazy on my screen. When you set up your I say you set up SSH and you don't, configure CrowdStrike or something like that, and people are just hitting at your stuff and they end up finding your password. I mean, they can get in. That's a misconfiguration.
Okay. Yeah, it's D. Uh, which of the following best describes the purpose of open source intelligence in the context of IT security? A, to perform code reviews on uh, pro- proprietary software.
proprietary.
There we go. Yeah, proprietary software, and that means what again? That means reviews on.
Specifically for like Microsoft, or it's like for that vendor.
Okay, so to perform code reviews on proprietary softwares, to monitor network traffic for unusual patterns, to gather threat information from public sources and discussions groups, or to create visualization of real-time attack data. Hmm. Um. Yeah. So I think it's actually I know it's C, but let's break down why. So an open source intelligence in the context of IT security is what? It's an organization that basically gives out all the latest information about attacks and any sort of vulnerabilities that are out in the cyber field. So, in this context, to gather threat information from public sources and discussion groups that can all go into what an open source is for starters, and um, the intelligence part of it as well. So, I would say C.
I agree, and it's also a passive way of an attack. They won't really know, so you can just get it from, like you say, social media.
Agreed. That's the answer. You wanna do this one, Kat?
Sure. Which of the following is a standardized format for sharing threat intelligence between organizations? I just want to go with taxis.
Why?
I remember threats riding taxis, something like that. I can't remember.
Hmm. So, which of the following is a standardized format So for sharing threat intelligence between organizations. So what is a format? Could a format just basically just be some sort of website or blog? Or do they mean like format in the sense of like an actual like an actual format? Some sort of like layout? Because if I'm thinking it of the way that I am, I would think it's the dark web, right? Because the dark web shares that sort of
It's actually sticks. I'm sorry.
it sticks. Why?
It says structured threat information. Where was I? I just saw it. Describe cybersecurity threat information, includes motivations, abilities, capabilities, and response information.
Okay.
Got to
it's
jump off here.
very-
I'll see you guys.
All right, my man. Have a good one. Yeah. So STIX, structured threat information expression. So standardized language for sharing and representing cybersecurity threat information, facilitating effective collaboration and analysis of threats. Interesting. And this is why we write notes. Okay. And we should also look at the incorrect answers because I think we're gonna get some questions for these. So AIS stands for automated indicator sharing. It's a method used for securely and automatically sharing the threat information between organizations, but it is not standardized format for the information itself. Go ahead and copy that. Dark web is an overlay network that requires specialized software to access private websites. Okay. Then TAXI stands for Trusted Automated Exchange of Indicator Information. It's a trusted transport mechanism used for securely exchanging threat intelligence. However, it is not standardized format for threat information. Okay.
So we can remember that by which is standardized and which is not, because they seem like the same.
Yep.
Kind of.
What is the primary benefit of a national vulnerability database? Well, national vulnerability database. Okay. I think the way I would see that is that it's a vulnerability database that is documented nationally. So anything that happens anywhere is all coming into one database. So it provides a real-time map of cyber attacks occurring worldwide. It offers a platform for sharing source code and tools used by hackers. No. Summarizes common vulnerabilities and exposure CVEs and provides severity scoring. It's specialized software for accessing private. Yeah, so this would be A. We don't need to spend too much time on this. What? Wait a minute. It summarizes common
CV
vulnerabilities
and exposure. So that would tell you like what type of threats happen, like attacks that happen.
Sorry about that, you guys. I was really confident on this. Okay, so yeah, the answer is C. It summarizes common vulnerabilities and exposures and provides severity scoring. The National Vulnerability Database is a valuable resource because it summarizes CVEs, provides severity scoring, and offers suggestions for patching vulnerabilities. It serves as a single location where security professionals can research and assess potential threat to their organization. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't be A because this is nationally. It's a database nationally, not worldwide. So, I mean, that right there should have already. Okay, well, now we know. What is the purpose of the Cyber Threat Intelligence CTA organization? Cyber threat intelligence. So to provide a central location for sharing vulnerability data, to maintain the national vulnerability database, to maintain it. Okay. To create the structured threat information expression, or to regulate the dark web and prevent illegal activities. Either cyber threat intelligence organization. I don't want to say that it's there to maintain the national vulnerability. Oh, you know what? Oh, it could be. Cyber threat. No, to provide a central location for sharing. I think A. What do you think?
I would say A too, from what I see as the definition from Professor Messernertz.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Well, then it should be A then. Yeah. You want to take over?
Sure. What is a unique and sufficient type of threat intelligence that requires specialized software to access private websites? Dark web or AIS? I would probably say dark web. I don't know.
It could be dark web, but let's. So an AIS in my notes is an automated indicator sharing. It's a method used for securely and automating sharing threat information between organizations, but is not the standardized format for the information itself. And this is here saying what is a unique and significant type of threat intelligence that requires specialized software to access. Yeah, so I think it would be B2. Which of the following best describes an indicator of compromise? A specific attack signature, a large amount of data used to analyze potential threats, unusual patterns of user logins or file executions, or a real-time map of ongoing cyber attacks. Indicator of compromise. So it could be A.
Yeah, it could be A, but I think I will go with C.
Unusual patterns of user logins or file executions. Oh yeah, because I mean that is an indicator. I mean that right there in itself is an indicator of something being compromised. I'd go C2. Okay. What is the purpose of automated indicator sharing and threat intelligence? So again, it's a method used to securely and automate sharing threats information. So with that logic, is it to provide a graphical representation of attacks? Oh, hey, what's up, Winsome? Or Winsome? I didn't see you there. I think I remember you from, what was it, 2 days ago? I could be wrong. Anyways, to provide a graphical representation of attacks, to securely and quickly transfer threat information between organizations. That could be it. To predict when a no, actually B isn't it? To predict when a compromise may be attempted. To monitor code repositories for vulnerabilities. I think it's C. Because it's basically
I'm thinking B.
to securely
Because isn't it a way that they share information?
Securely and automate sharing threats between sharing threat information between organizations. Yeah, so it is. It is B. Okay. Which of the following can be used to predict a potential system attack based on large amounts of data and interferences made from that data? So, which of the following can be used to predict a potential system attack? Okay, let's break this down. So we're basically finding a method that can predict a potential system attack. So we know that Styx shares cybersecurity threat information, and it collabs with analysis to share these threats. AIS is a method used to securely and automate sharing information. Taxi is what? Taxi is a trusted transport mechanism used to exchange threat intelligence. And then, so I don't think it's Styx, I don't think it's Taxi, I don't think it's indicator of compromise. So it'd be predictive analysis. I mean, predictive analysis sounds like, I mean, it's kind of what's within the sentence, right? But the indicator of compromise could also be that too. Yeah, I'm puzzled on either C or D. But can't D be within C? Because the whole indicator of compromise, that whole like firm, don't they have these predictive analysis automations running within the indicator of a compromise?
Yeah, you're right. They are talking about large amounts of data. I would go with predictive analysis on this one.
Oh. Okay. I'll go C. All right, predictive data was the right answer. Predictive analysis is the correct answer because it involves evaluating large amounts of data and making um inferences from that data to predict if a particular system may be attacked. This can help security professionals set up additional security measures for specific systems. Okay, so why was C not the right? So, indicator of compromise refers to specific activities or patterns that should indicate a network breach or an attacker being inside a network. Oh, so that's more affiliated with attack analysis, whereas predictive analysis has everything to do with um, data being potentially extracted, right? It's kind of how I'm reading that.
Okay, let me take a screenshot because that definitely was a struggle for me.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
What is the purpose of threat maps in the context of cybersecurity? To display real-time data about attacks, origins and frequencies, to provide a standardized format for threat data exchange. No. To evaluate the vulnerabilities in organizations and networks. No. To store source code for potential exploits and vulnerabilities. I think it's A. To display that real-time data on attacks and where they're coming from. What do you think, Kat? For the people that are in here with their mics muted, if you guys like, you guys could oh, I think you guys are. Oh, you guys are using the chat. Okay. What do you guys think this answer would be, and why? So IOC is more like breadcrumbs. They're talking about a large amount of data. Okay. I see. That was for the previous question. Okay, I'm gonna continue. I think it's A. So it is A.
Sorry, I had to use the bathroom.
Which of the following is the reason why attackers monitor file or code repositories like GitHub? To find misconfigurations in network devices, to gather intelligence on potential phishing targets, to discover accidentally released source code, or to identify new malware signatures. I think we could roll out D because it's not really what it's about. To discover accidentally released source code, that could be the case. To gather intelligence on potential phishing targets, I don't think that's where people go on repositories for GitHub. To find misconfigurations in network devices, I mean, I don't think you. I think that's irrelevant. I don't think you can find misconfigurations in a network device through a repository on GitHub. So I think it'd be C. Or sorry, not C. Yeah, to discover accidentally released source. Yeah, C. All right, let's see. Attackers monitor. Okay, we don't have to spend too much time on that. Where should IT professionals start when looking for information about threat associated with a specific operating system or application? Okay, there's a lot of breaking down we need to do here. So RFC documents. What is a RFC? Is that some sort of radio frequency?
It's something of comments. I forget what it is, but it's like a comment, like the 802.11x has a RFC.
Oh, I'm thinking of RFID. Okay. So RFC is something about comments. All right.
It's request for comments.
Okay. Hacker groups on Twitter. I don't think that's where the IT professionals start looking for information. Vendor websites. Yeah, I could see vendor websites. Academic journals, no. So it's either RFC or vendor websites.
With this one, I would go with hacker groups on Twitter because they're gonna release that information on like a like an underground Discord channel or something like that. If it's like say like a 0 day or something that no one knows about.
That's so true. Okay.
Vendor websites.
Yeah, because there's vendors that are specifically like for this. Yeah, so the correct answer is vendor. IT professionals should start with companies that wrote the operating system or application when looking for the information about threats associated with those products. Vendors are often the first to know about vulnerabilities, and they usually maintain a page on their website where they can keep track of known vulnerabilities as well as provide notifications for newly discovered vulnerabilities. Yeah, so like a perfect example would be pentester.com.
Okay, yeah, like HackerOne. Yeah, gotcha. Bug Bounty.
Yeah. Which of the following is a valuable source of information on the latest vulnerabilities and threats affecting the IT industry and allows IT professionals to build professional relationships? Conferences. Yeah, conferences. Yeah. Which of the following is a primary benefit of attending conferences for IT professionals focused on security? Access to vendor vulnerability pages? No, because you already access to that regardless. Detailed analysis of certain types of threats through RFCs. Not really sure what an RFC is again, but you did say something about documents. What type of documents do they provide for an RFC? In fact, what's the
It's
acronym?
just so it's request for comments, and it's
Okay.
just like someone like if I wanted to write up something like a new encryption or something like that, I would do RFC.
Okay. Some sort of like blog for like vulnerabilities and attacks, correct?
Yeah, it's I would say this to get it standardized. I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay. So then we can roll out A and B. Networking opportunities and learning from researchers presenting the latest vulnerabilities and trends. I like that. That one sounds like the most substantial answer. Or D, subscription to automate threat feeds from organizations like the U.S. Department. I mean, what? No. It's. I think it's C.
Yeah, I would definitely go with C on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's C. Which resource is an ideal source for detailed information about attacks and insights into how people have dealt with them? National Vulnerability Database? No. Vendor websites? Yeah, could have that on there. Some sort of like, but I don't think that's what it's for. I don't think that's what's going on there. It's more as like offering a service. That is a problem. Not hearing people complaining about the problem. Academic journals? RFC documents. Oh, so yeah, it'd be D, right? Like as you said. That'd be an RFC document. That'd be a good example of an RFC document. Like I said, it was like because I compared it to like a blog, right? You're just writing out your information about like vulnerabilities and attacks onto in a document on a website, right? Because academic journal is just so vague. It's like what? And then vendor websites, no, I don't like people aren't coming on there for testimonials or anything like that. And the National Vulnerability Database has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with detailed information. Just more is like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's out here, and so I'd say RFC document. And I was wrong.
Academic journal. I think that's. Hey, you have to give me a second. I'm gonna research a little bit.
Academic journals are ideal sources for detailed information about attacks and how people have to. So that was my first option, but then you mentioned something about RFC documenting, basically being people documenting vulnerabilities or their experiences
So
on attacks.
a RFC would be like it says it's a publication of series from a principal technology development and standard setting bodies for the internet, most permanently the Internet of Engineer task. So I don't know
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Requests for comments. Documents are a series of publicly available standards, guidelines, protocols, and so. Oh yeah, so it wouldn't be RFC. 100% it wouldn't, because RFC is more as like a guideline. This isn't.
Yes. I think they like before it becomes standard, they do a RFC and then it
Yeah.
becomes like a standard. Yeah, if they like it, if people approve of it.
Yeah. Then again, so with this logic, RFC wouldn't be it. Vendor websites is people don't come on pentester.com or bugbounty.com to like see testimonials of people complaining about these vulnerabilities. They come to find a service that is prevalent in cybersecurity that they need. So I wouldn't say B either. And a national vulnerability database is exactly what it sounds like. So that just kind of leaves us with the academic journals. I guess it kind of like narrows it down. I said it was vague, but I guess when we roll out A, B, and D, it kind of like tells you exactly what that journal is all about. So, okay, which document type can provide a detailed analysis of certain types of threats and help understand how standards are supposed to operate? Oh yeah, so like, Catman, do you hear this?
That's definitely RFC.
Yeah, 100% RFC. Yeah. Oh, RFCs. Oh yeah, so yeah, RFCs. Which of the following resources is an excellent source for learning about very specific aspects of security technologies and obtaining detailed information about them? Definitely not the National Vulnerability Database. Wait. Resources is an excellent source of learning.
I would say A.
The National Vulnerability Database?
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be my
it is.
guess. Yeah.
I have it in my notes. Yeah, so it says it's a valuable resource because it summarizes CVs, provides severity scoring, and offers suggestions for patching
Yep. It'll
vulnerabilities.
possibly give them like the vector, so like how they normally attack, what they attack, all that stuff. So
For a moment there, although I do have it written down in my notes, I was thinking that of National Vulnerability Database was more as like kind of telling you what's out there, what's telling you what's vulnerable, not necessarily like explaining why it's vulnerable or what's like really the whole logistics behind the vulnerability in itself. So, but
yeah, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got rid of my Logitech mouses because of that.
I mean, honestly, man, if this, I think everyone should look into the National Vulnerability Database. This is, wow, that's really cool. Well, what are CVs? I know
So that's like a score. So it'll tell you like it'll say like a 9 or something like that, or I think it's like from like one.
so
I can't
basically
remember,
like a
like 1 to
rating.
10 or something. Yeah, it's like a
So when it
rating.
says here, NVD is a valuable resource because it summarizes ratings um of patching vulnerabilities. That's interesting. That's really cool. I'm gonna look into that later. Okay, let's move on. So this answer is A. Yo, wait, what? Which of the following resource is an
I
excellent
guess
source?
the detailed information.
I to be fair, I did stop there. I read up to like security technologies and just didn't read the rest. And obtaining detailed information about them. Yeah.
I caught that at the last minute, and then my wife came in.
Academic journals are written by industry experts and provide detailed information about security technologies. They often evaluate different types of security technologies, providing deep dives into specific aspects of these technologies. I need to get a hold of some academic journals.
I have one you can that'll probably help you find resources. It's a guy from a Discord. He's a security researcher, and
Yeah.
he's written like a whole book on that.
Yeah, go ahead and send it my way when you get the time. I see some new faces in this Discord. If you guys want to read the questions or maybe give you a reason why one of the questions is right, then feel free. Just let me know.
Yeah, don't let us be wrong. Space
Yeah, dude.
tacos.
Yeah, don't let me be wrong. If we're speaking that nonsense, you guys gotta smack some sense into us. Which of the following sources of information can be useful for learning about new vulnerabilities and understanding attackers' tactics on social media? Okay. Let's break this down.
Well, we see the keyword social media. I would go with C, Twitter.
Yeah, I would too. Which of the following sources provides a central database of CVs, so ratings, or common vulnerabilities exposures, and can be supplemented within or with third-party feeds for comprehensive vulnerability management. Well, we read this one. Let's let the people in the chat figure this one out. If you guys like, I'll give you guys like maybe 10-15 seconds. Go ahead and type in the voice channel chat sidebar. Okay.
I'm gonna go with B.
I agree.
National Vulnerability Database.
This B. Which of the following sources can help an IT professional understand and identify vulnerabilities specific to their environment and stay informed when new vulnerabilities are disclosed? So, National Vulnerability Database isn't necessarily like about staying up to date with, I mean it is, but it isn't, but like I guess immediately when it releases, stay informed about new vulnerabilities. Academic journals, yeah, but I feel like that's more of a,
I think that's more of an after the fact, how to mitigate it or how to like protect yourself from it.
Local user group meetings, social media. I think it's either D or C.
Yeah, I would go with D.
Yeah. I like D. Pause.
Watch it be C.
Oh my gosh. So it's doing its best to just trick us. It's done this twice now. It's been giving the same answer twice in a row. For 2 questions now. Cause I was thinking it was A, but then it didn't mention about CVEs, so I was just like, okay, it has to be D or something. Because it doesn't mention anything about CVEs, right? And I didn't know that it was keeping up to date with the latest vulnerabilities. I mean, I guess social media is flawed because it's like, it's social media. Anyone can just post anything. Never like really know. Whereas a national vulnerability database is like a legitimate organization that is credible and I believe works with the government, right? So if there's any information we should be reading, whether it's latest or just information period, it should be from A. So okay. Which of the following is a common vulnerability associated with cloud-based data storage? I think we've already done this one. Outdated operating systems or legacy systems, inadequate encryption protocols, default usernames and passwords on an IoT device, weakness in the firewall rule sets. Yeah, so I already know the answer to this. I'm like 99.9% confident. What do you think it is, Catman? You should actually get this one. Catman,
I want to say weakness in firewall rule
yeah,
sets.
exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say it's absolutely D. I knew you'd get it. Oh, what?
Inadequate encryption protocols. Oh, cloud.
No, but still cloud, right? Like I read a question like this. When you're dealing with the cloud, they tell you that you need to make sure that your firewall, like they'll protect you and your data and whatever you're coming for their services for within the cloud. But the best way for securing your data, is securing your firewall first. Like they can't secure your firewall for you. You have to make sure your firewall is okay, or is it's good.
I want to read that explanation though, for sure.
Which of the following is a common vulnerability associated with cloud-based data storage? What? It could be. It's. Why wouldn't it? Oh yeah, let's read. Oh, whoa! What did I just do? Oh no. Oh no! How do I go back? Oh no. Oh, what am I doing? Dude.
It's
Whatever.
okay.
Hopefully we get the answer again. Which of the following is an example of an open permission problem? An open permission. Attackers finding vulnerabilities hidden in software. Mirai botnet taking advantage of default usernames. Use of weakness encryption protocol. Information being put on the internet with no security applied.
Definitely D.
Yeah, I would say D
Gotta
too.
be. Please be D.
Yeah, it's D. Because it's open.
I was just about to just give up. Like,
I know. No, man. I swear we're absolutely right though. Like, granted, the question we were wrong with the question. When it comes to security for cloud-based operations, you need to make sure that on your end, your firewall is okay. They're not in charge of your firewall, and if your firewall has any sort of vulnerabilities, then you could be liable to, you know.
having your stuff taken, getting pwned.
Which of the following is a security concern related to unsecure root accounts? Well, a root account is what? A root account is an admin account. So default usernames and passwords, outdated encryption protocols, open permissions, legacy systems. So it's definitely not C. Legacy systems, not really sure what that is. Outdated encryption protocols? I think it'd be A. What's the concern related to unsecure root accounts? Because a root account, I don't think a root account is an admin account. Well, it could be B then. Default names and password. I mean, but it could also be A as well.
Honestly, don't know. I'm
Which of
so
the
lost
following
right
is a security concern related to unsecure root accounts? I would think it's A. Default usernames and passwords.
I literally just said that out loud. I will go with A.
A. Okay. Granted, it could be either A or B, but I think it's A. Okay, cool. We're right.
I don't like how close these questions are.
They're so close, bro. They're so close where it's. I guess they're so close where it's like A could go into B, and B can go into A, but it's a matter of which one says it better, like which one describes the other questions better, but indicates that they both mean the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're definitely getting harder and harder too.
Because it's not like it's necessarily wrong, but it isn't necessarily right either. So, which of the following is an example of an error message turning into a vulnerability and ultimately an exploit? A, the use of default usernames and passwords to gain access to IoT devices. Now, are we all familiar with an IoT? What an IoT is? Actually, an IoT device.
Internet of Things. Like a freaking smart toaster.
Okay. Yeah. I'll look it up after, actually. So, the exposure of data due to an open permissions problem, the exploitation of an unpatched vulnerability in Apache struts, or the display of debug information in an error message. I don't know. I have no idea. See someone new just join. Griff, would you like to chime in?
Yeah. Apache Struts was a vulnerability that was utilized from, forget the old, I think that was the exploitation from one of the credit companies, maybe leaning into 4 because if you're or D because if you're displaying debug information, or really it's C or D in my mind.
C or D. So the
But
exploitation of an unpatched vulnerability in Apache struts.
because they're giving away information, you know
Mhm.
what I mean, that can then be searched for maybe like a metasploit exploit or um, that's pretty close. All of those are pretty tight.
Okay.
I would go D. Yeah, D.
The display of debug information in an error message. Okay. Yeah, I would also say D because debug
Yeah,
is something that's wrong with the code, right? And if you're getting something that's wrong with the code, it could potentially be, well, vulnerable, and which can ultimately resort into an exploit. So
D is a reference to the it was hold on the Equifax hack from I think it was 2014. That might have been Target. But Apache Struts previously had a vulnerability with Equifax. They had a portal for reporting errors that Apache Struts created a vulnerability for. That was what caused them to get hacked. So
yeah. So, and this is what we were talking about before, how the answers are both like, because you're right, it is C, but when you break down C, when it says the
is it a really an
exploitation,
error message?
it starts within, yeah, it starts with a debug to find that unpatched vulnerability
Hmm.
that is an error within the Apache struts. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. So D.
I mean, yep.
But you're absolutely right. It's just these questions, they go to the root. Like the answer is the root of it all.
Yeah, it's got to be an error message. I mean, this is in lots of tests.
Yeah.
They want it to be specific to the wording. So you have to think of what is the result of how an error message there is displaying what the vulnerability would be, and then ultimately to the exploit.
Exactly. Which of the following statements about encryption is true? Encryption is only necessary for data stored on hard drives? That's not true. All encryption protocols are equally strong and effective? I want to say equally. Weak encryption can be easily cracked by attackers? I agree. Encryption is not important for data transmitted over wireless networks. That couldn't be any further from the truth. I would say C.
Yeah,
I agree. Definitely agree.
John the
These
Ripper is
hoes.
gonna make for easy hash cracking. Yeah,
Yo, Griff, you want to read the next question?
sure. Which of the following is an example of an in the clear protocol that sends information over the network without encryption? SSH, SFF, SFTP, Telnet, or IMAPS? I'm gonna lean real quick into Telnet.
Let's break down why.
Yeah. Telnet is a plain text protocol. It is going to be something that's going to display information. SSH is has security. If it was FTP, that's one thing, but SFTP is going to have a security protocol too. IMAPS, my familiarity is a little less than, but Telnet screams at me as something that is, something that you can get a port, understanding, you can nmap, and if you see that that's an available port, generally it leads me to want to look into the vulnerabilities when it comes to Telnet, SMP.
Yeah. Okay.
I think IMAPS is just our map over SSL or TLS.
Yep. So then they're all containing, security protocols there, encryption.
Absolutely.
Telnet's plain text.
Okay. I agree.
Telnet sends data in a clear text, and anyone on the network can read it. It's a remote login protocol used to log into a remote computer. It's also something that you can, with a simple scan, understand if it allows anonymous login too. Not secure and should not be used to transmit sensitive information.
Let's also read what all the incorrect answers, just because we're gonna get questions for them.
Sure, yeah. SSH is a secure protocol used for remote login that encrypts data in transit over the network. It is not an in the clear protocol. Same thing is the secure file transfer protocol, SFTP, used for file transfers that encrypts data in transit over the network. Definitely not an in the clear protocol. And IMAP secure protocol used for email communication. That's right. That encrypts data in transit over the network. Absolutely not over the in the clear. So that one's pretty glaring, based upon knowledge, but the other three are, as the description for C is saying, it's a secure shell protocol used for remote login, as SSH, SFTP, secure file transfer, and IMAP's is secure email communication.
Alrighty, well said. Let's move on. Which of the following is a common vulnerability associated with the cloud-based data storage? We had this question already, so I'll let you guys figure this one
out. Makes me want to lean quicker into weaknesses in firewall rule sets.
Dude,
We are not the only ones. We are not the only ones.
Oh my gosh, right?
I take it I'm wrong from that, but
yeah, we thought,
right?
But, oh man.
But if I really think about it like that, I mean, you're gonna have to have an understanding of what the firewall. You're gonna have to really scan your way into that firewall and get information regarding it to really find those weaknesses. So a common vulnerability.
My thought exactly.
That would be a common
my
one.
thought. My thought.
Well, I would say maybe the other ones are a little bit more common, considering that's going to take a little bit of probing, and especially probing a firewall. You're going to set off some events. You can get your ass honeypotted pretty quick there.
So what's the most common one for you then, if it isn't D?
Encryption protocols that are going to be they're going to have poor hashing, that are going to be able to be just John the Ripper, or outdated. But once again, outdated operating systems. The longer an operating system is out, the more vulnerabilities that are known.
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
But default username and passwords on Internet of Things devices, you can look those up pretty quick. I mean, Google's going to display lots of default username and passwords. Sometimes Internet of Things devices contain the admin passwords to things just in documents if you can find them well enough. Most common, though, when it says, that's the keyword here, common vulnerability with cloud-based data storage.
Mm-hmm.
So Internet of Things are not necessarily data storage. And so if we're talking about data storage, we're regarding to something that's being encrypted. So I'm gonna say inadequate encryption protocols.
Smart man. Broke it down. I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah.
A lot of these questions I'm also noticing too, it's the answer is kind of within the question in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cloud-based data storage has become increasingly popular in recent years. It's important to ensure the proper security measures are in place to protect sensitive data stored in the cloud. Common vulnerability associated with cloud-based data storage is an inadequate encryption protocol. Because data is encrypted doesn't necessarily mean it's well protected. It's important to use strong encryption, 256 AES, triple DES. Ensure that the length of the encryption key is sufficient, exactly, because it's hash crackable. In addition to it's important to avoid using outdated hashes exactly to keep up with the latest wireless encryption protocols when communicating over a wireless network, because exploits are saved in databases, and if it's a known hash, someone's already cracked it.
Alrighty, let's move on. Which of the following best describes a zero-day attack? An attack that occurs when an attacker uses an administrator or root account to gain access to an operating system. An attack that occurs when an attacker gains access to data that has been left open without security applied to it. An attacker that occurs when an attacker takes advantage of default usernames and passwords to gain control over IoT devices. Or D, an attack that occurs when an attacker exploits vulnerability that has never, ever, ever been seen before.
Answer there.
You're saying D is the answer?
I mean, does
I agree.
anybody else want to?
There's a
Yeah.
bear shit in the woods.
Yeah.
There's actual footage of that now.
There's actual footage. Okay, Kat, you want to take over?
Sure. Which of the following is a common security vulnerability associated with devices on the network? Using strong encryption protocols, keeping legacy systems up to date, closing all ports on the server, using default username and passwords. Default username and passwords.
What is okay.
Especially with devices on a network.
Why?
Most people just stay with the default passwords when they get like their routers.
Okay.
Well,
And your Wi-Fi is obviously connected within a network, right? And that's within the question: network, Wi-Fi, you know, you have a username and password. So I would agree. It would be D. Which of the following is a concern when opening ports on a server? Allowing access to legacy systems, creating a vulnerability in the server, making it difficult to the patch server, or providing too much information in error messages.
makes you think about patching the server because each of those ports can have vulnerabilities. You know what I mean? B and C just feel like, I mean, slight deviations from a similar perspective.
I could see that.
Opening ports, if you're not securing them in certain ways, closing guest accounts, making anonymous accounts not able to be active on SMB, you know, the
I want to say, or is everybody allowed to participate or no?
yeah,
Sure,
that's what it's for,
Minotai.
buddy.
Get up in here.
No, thanks, guys. I want to say it's B
Why?
because when you open something up, you expose it. So if you leave your window open in a house, you're leaving your house vulnerable to have somebody break into it easily.
Which can cause access to that legacy system, which could make it difficult to the patch server, which could provide too much information in error messages. I can see how B could be the right answer. I can also see how B can also correspond into A and C. And also, yeah, A and C. D, I think D is completely irrelevant. So I'd go B2. What's your guys'
I
final
would
answer?
say I would say B because it's just a convenience thing. If there are more ports open, it's more convenient.
All right. B was the right answer.
Opening ports in a server allows traffic to flow in, but also creates an opening for exploitation. Keeping secure admins use firewalls to manage flow traffic. Rule sets can become very complex, allow unintended access to services. Keeping it up to date, latest patches priority for many organizations. Legacy systems may not have patches available, making them more vulnerable. Providing too much info in an error message is a concern, but not specifically related to opening ports exactly. Which of the following is a reason why it is important to maintain security controls for third-party vendors and system integrators? Third-party vendors and system integrators never create security issues. Firewalls and security devices commonly installed on the perimeter can stop all security issues. Integrators on the inside can bypass security controls and deploy malware more easily, or vendors can or will always fix security vulnerabilities in a timely manner. 4 is just a ridiculous statement. I mean, D is a ridiculous statement. I mean, the human factor there is thick.
I want to say C.
See why.
So if you're hiring a third-party vendor to come in and assist you with something, you need to give them access to it, whether it be inside the building or access to a computer. You run the risk of someone doing something to your system, someone doing something to your building,
Yeah.
that sort of scenario. Where I work, we have foreigners come over to install specific type of testers for the military equipment that we work with. So we have to keep an eye on them. We can't not do that.
Yeah.
And even then, they have their own laptops, and so the
And if
people
anyone-
that are the people that are there don't know jack shit about computers, like
Right.
nothing. They barely know how to turn it on. So if somebody pulled up a terminal and they're like, all right, I'm gonna hack this wireless network, they wouldn't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
I like it. I agree.
I mean, A and D relate a lot to how, yeah, A and D relate a lot to how in 2014 Target hack, their vendors were using a non-pro version of Malwarebytes, and it didn't run on automated scans. It was scan at request. And so vendors there may not, let alone A and D, are saying that they're going to fix security vulnerabilities in a timely manner. They might not even be aware of how they're creating a vulnerability. And then let alone A is just ridiculous because they, in most instances, do create the security issues for if they have access to a network. Especially if they're accessing for, vendor for invoices is usually about the only reason that they get access is for invoicing to the company.
Uh,
And so you can rule out a lot of these questions, especially Sec Plus, you can rule out, if you just read it well enough, you can rule out. And then the wording on B there is really just saying all security issues can stop all security issues. All is a strong word. So really, without even going over it, just reading the other ones, you can rule out A, B, and D.
Agreed. Well said. What should organizations do to ensure security when working with third-party vendors? You should know this one.
Once again, just read it. Jeez.
Zero trust.
Yeah.
Agreed.
C, yeah. Down.
Which of the following is an example of potential security issue in the supply chain? Is everyone familiar with what a supply chain is?
I am somewhat remembering of it. It's basically where you have a vendor and they offer you product, and that correlates with the supply chain. So if I order a PlayStation, Sony sends me a PlayStation. But if somebody tampered with that PlayStation while it was still in the factory being built, that is somebody messing with the supply chain.
Well, then they might get a VPN to access information. They might be given a VPN,
Well,
stored code.
I want to say A.
So supply chain is used for like malicious cyber attacks. Let's also keep that in mind. Installing keyloggers on a system, using a VPN to access data, storing code on a centralized cloud-based server. No, we definitely could rule out C.
Yeah.
Applying encryption to healthcare data. Healthcare. It's not specifically tied to healthcare, so we can rule out C and D. And you mentioned A, so installing keyloggers, which is the following example of potential. Using a VPN to access. Yeah, okay. I can get behind A. Using a VPN to access data is just, I mean,
situational.
Yeah, it's pretty vague.
Yeah, so the security issue in a supply chain would be that'd be like the instance. Okay, so I'm gonna roll into A too.
Integrators who have access to company systems may have the ability to install malware or use software such as keyloggers, which would allow them to capture data directly from the network without needing to go through any type of security control. It is important to maintain security controls for all aspects of the supply. Okay. What's
Like
your
that
name?
man said, zero trust.
Minipi. Would you like to read the next question?
Sure. Which of the following is the best practice when working with third-party developers to create code? A. Allow the developers access to the production network to test the code. B. Store the code and data on an open cloud-based server. C. Isolate the development environment from the production environment. Or D. Only encrypt data if required by law or regulation.
Obvious.
I want to say C.
Yeah, UAT is part of secure. I mean, that's a CIS control. I don't know if you guys know the CIS controls, but that's directly one of them, and those are all best practices. Application development. So on C, I mean, they're required to have a UAT environment, which is separate from the production server. You would never get access until everything in the UAT environment, the testing environment, would be completely ready to roll out. And then you have to go through a change management policy.
Sounds good. C was the correct answer.
Which of the following is a risk associated with third-party access to data storage systems? A. Third-party vendors are too expensive and should not be used. B. Third-party vendors will always prioritize their own interests over the interests of their clients. C. Third-party integrators may be able to run software to capture data from the network without needing to go through any type of security controls. D. Third-party vendors are always reliable and can be trusted to maintain the security of systems. Which of the following is a risk?
Yeah, I mean, C is worded as a risk.
Yeah.
A, B, and D, once again, the wording there are stating, always reliable, will always prioritize, are too expensive and should not. It's the wording is a lot firmer, whereas the wording of C is written as a risk. They may be able to run software and capture data. I'm 100% C.
Okay.
Because it's saying is a risk.
Agreed on that one.
I concur.
Yep.
Which of the following is a recommended way to mitigate the risk of attackers gaining access to your data in the cloud? A. Store your data on premise in your private data center. B. Use weak encryption protocols to encrypt your data. C. Store your data in the cloud without any security applied to it. Or D. Put the proper security in place when storing data in the cloud. I'm going to say D.
What makes you say that?
Because it's not really giving you a choice of like, hey, what could you do to stop in general? It's just saying stop attackers from gaining access to the cloud. The other B and C are just ridiculous. A is taking everything basically off the cloud and putting it onto a local server, and D is the only one that mentions cloud. And whenever you want to make sure that your stuff is secured in the cloud, you want to make sure that you use TLS encryption and all that stuff to make sure that it's secure. You want to make sure you have proper privileges in place. And
I just say it's so much of certification exams are wording and just reading it all. Yeah, 100% D.
All right. Which of the following is a potential vulnerability in an operating system that an attacker may use to gain full control over the system? Use a strong encryption protocol, running legacy software with no patches available, accessing an administrator account with a strong password, or encrypting data being sent across the network. Okay.
B,
You said B?
yes,
Why?
because you're running legacy software, and if there's no patches that are available to it, that means either one of two things: either one, if it's a company-based software and there hasn't been updates for it, which means we haven't patched any type of security into it, or B, the vendor hasn't done anything to it because it's at an end of life and they've come out either with a new version or just completely stopped supporting it. Thus, if they have that, then there's vulnerabilities that are open, and so you have to actually isolate that software in a way, or at least keep an eye on what ports that software may use or whatever may happen with that software.
Okay. What's a legacy software? What exactly is that?
Mhm.
Isn't legacy software company developed like APIs or
I have it here. So legacy software refers to outdated or older software systems or applications that are still in use but lack modern features, capabilities, and technology. Okay.
O- Okay, I thought you were asking for like a literal example of one. I couldn't even think of one.
No, I just want to know what it is. But yeah, that's ChatGPT's explanation. It's good to
Mhm.
know. Um, yeah. So with that logic, I could see it being B2 because you're running a legacy software. Then you have no. I mean, you're outdated on
available patches?
exactly. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, that's a
Strong
no-brainer.
password access, yeah.
Yeah, that can result in I mean, a whole crossfire of problems. Yep. Go ahead and take over, Griff.
Which of the following is an example of an in the clear protocol? Repeat on here. SS, secure shell, secure file transfer protocol, telnet, or secure email with IMAPs. So, MiniPie, I think you came in right after we
You got
had
the
done,
joke.
we just yeah we just he threw this to me because I came in and this was one of the first that I had hopped in on, and so I'm gonna pass this along to you. And for the same transfer here, why what it's it's a clear answer, but what is it? What is it in your mind?
I mean, it's clear if you know what these terms
Yeah,
mean, right? Let's not,
right.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
like, shit, I feel dumb.
no. Yeah, not. I don't want to put you on the spot like that, but MiniPie, are you familiar with each of these protocols?
SSH is a remote protocol. SSFTP is secure file transfer protocol. Telnet is another form of remote protocol, but it's not encrypted. And IMAPS is a form in which mail uses to receive uh,
Yes, server.
email.
Yep.
Yeah.
So telnet is plain text,
Yeah.
or in the clear.
Okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
What's an example of a result of vulnerabilities that can be more damaging than losing money? A database being deleted without warning, an organization's value being impacted in the stock market, the loss of uptime and availability, and/or identity theft. C is the compromise of the CIA there.
A and C are both pretty decent answers because time is money. So if you lose uptime or you lose availability to your resources,
Right. And A is also that. I mean, you get a database that's deleted. Now you have to, you're looking for backups, hoping that you have backups, and then you're reestablishing your database. So that's the same thing. That's availability as well.
I want to say probably one of the more impactful ones would be A, because if you delete a server or a database, it's going to take some time for that to recover.
Not to mention, it costs a lot of money to build out a database.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how much our database MySQL engineers make. I'm totally green over here because I ain't making that kind of money, but I don't want to do SQL.
SQL is not that hard.
It's not that it's hard. It's just you type one thing wrong, everything just breaks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it does like very specific wording and use.
And capitals.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Catman, you want to take over?
Sure. Which of the following is an example of a data breach that resulted in identity theft? This is definitely Meow Cat attack. I'm just kidding. Bank of Bangladesh, Econex attack, Broncos, ransomware, identity theft.
I don't know
So
what any of these are.
So I was
The
just gonna.
Equifax one.
Equifax was one I was saying was the resulting in the Equifax in that Equifax attack. They had utilized Apache struts in their error reporting or their customer complaint portal. So there was an open Apache struts is obviously open source, and there was a vulnerability that was released for Apache struts, and Equifax took their literal sweet time to update the vulnerability. The team was advised of an email that was supposed to be put out, long story short, and they had received the email, but the team didn't really do anything. And in the report, which I've read, they literally say they went apeshit. Hackers went, about, I think it was all said and done, it was just shy of 200 million users identity theft. So it's
Nice.
C hands down, and also very interesting. Equifax attack. Really great example of what should have been done wasn't done, and was communicated to be done and wasn't done. And the purpose of things like First, why we have First, which is essentially why we have communities. The big thing about getting into cybersecurity is being part of communities. Like, I'm part of ISC Squared, and we have groups of us that will meet together. And I'm from Pittsburgh, and our Pittsburgh chapter gets together and assembles local crews of us to share vulnerabilities and share experience, especially with so much ransomware as a service happening. I work for Michael Baker International Civil Engineering, international company, and I'll tell you right now, our security team is always doing our best to stay on top of known vulnerabilities,
Yo,
especially.
can I send you a friend request?
Sure.
I like people that's into this, like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like, I'm always looking to learn, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hands down Equifax attack.
I'll take your word for it because I don't know what any of these attacks are, except for the one that you just literally described.
Yeah, the rest of them sound complete bullshit.
Yeah, all the other ones sound made up, and I knew it wasn't ransomware.
Yeah.
Nice. We go ahead and that was really well said. We go ahead and
Yeah, it was just shy 200 million people. majority of them being Americans. Yeah, Banco Estado, I don't know if that's real. Are those other ones legit?
Let's see.
The Banco Estado ransom attack
Yeah.
refers to a cyber attack in the Estado Bank where hackers deployed ransomware to encrypt systems and demanded a ransom.
So a ransomware, not going to be identity theft. Meow attack would be the one that either is BS or is genuinely legit.
Meow attack refers to a cyber incident where a malicious actor targets unprotected databases and online services.
Meow.
Meow.
So it's just a type of attack?
Yeah, it's a type of attack.
Okay.
And then let me see what this one is. Give me a second. The Bank of Bangladesh attack refers to sophisticated cyber heist in which hackers infiltrated the bank's network, manipulated the SWIFT messaging system, and attempted to transfer a large sum of money to accounts in other countries. Okay.
Yeah, Equifax was nasty. And Targets in 2014, interesting one to look into if you guys ever want to learn. Targets in 2014 was really cool. That's an excellent report to dive into.
Wasn't that the one when they did it through the vendor of the HVAC? Yep.
The HVAC vendor, and they got into the POS systems. You were swiping cards. It was taking your card data, putting it into a DLL file, and then between certain hours in the middle of the night, whenever it would contact the network, because mind you, they were off network up for a certain period of time, and then whenever it would connect to the server, they would they would dump all the credit card information into this essentially a DMZ server. You can kind of think of it that way, a hacker's DMZ server, and then they would touch base with that server, literally take those from that server and sell them to the black web. I mean, in the middle of the night, you would buy something at 12, and by 2 o'clock in the morning the following night, your information was sold to Bangladesh, Thailand, and North Korea.
Stuxnet is pretty cool
actually,
too.
Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Stuxnet worm is so cool.
Into that type of stuff. What is actually have a TikTok dedicated to attacks and cybersecurity news and like AI technology. This is it here. I don't know if you guys could see it.
No. I think you're just sharing
I think you're just sharing a window.
application.
Yeah, you're sharing your application.
Here it is.
AI.mentality.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow. I try to post as much as I can. So here, hackers make a custom malware. I use actual AIs to talk about what's going on around the world when it comes to AI technology and cybersecurity. So like,
hey everyone, brace yourselves for some heart-pounding cyber news that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. You won't believe what the North Korean KompTIA hackers have been up to lately. They're back with a vengeance, unleashing their latest weapon, the advanced reconnaissance malware. These hackers mean serious business. They've developed a custom piece of malware called Random Query, designed to gather crucial information for their sinister operations. And guess who they're targeting? Information services, human rights activists, and even North Korean defectors. It's a high-stakes game, and they're not backing down. KompTIA has been in action since 2012, following North Korea's own agendas and priorities. They've got an arsenal of powerful tools at their disposal, including the notorious Flower Power and Appleseed. These tools steal information and act as gateways for remote access Trojans. Scary stuff, right? They're constantly evolving, expanding their reach from political espionage to sabotage and even financial threats. It's a cat-and-mouse game between them and the cybersecurity experts, and the stakes have never been higher. Stay tuned for more updates on this thrilling cyber battle. Remember to keep your devices secure and always stay one
But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
step ahead.
If you guys have TikTok, be sure to follow if you want.
Appreciate that.
Oh, I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, I'm only on TikTok.
Blasphemy. You don't have TikTok?
Yeah, dude, come on. TikTok is like the new Instagram now.
I don't like TikTok because all it is to me is a whole bunch of untalented girls shaking their butts. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
They ain't gotta be talented for me to enjoy them shaking their butts.
It's just when you're married.
Let's continue.
Oh, you're
Uh,
married.
which of the following best describes data exfiltration? The act of stealing sensitive information and selling it to the highest bidder. The act of destroying sensitive information in a database. The act of encrypting sensitive information in a database so that it cannot be accessed through unauthorized parties. The act of stealing sensitive information from a network and transmitting it outside the network. So definitely not D.
Well, no, I was gonna say technically exfiltration. You got to think of these. B is destroying. A and D most likely would be really the only ones because they're taking the information and transmitting it. Selling it to the highest bidder. You're still taking that information and transmitting it. You know, data exfiltration. I would say that data D is actually kind of what sounds to me like, because encrypting. If you're C is just encrypting. So you're not exfiltrating. You're not taking it and moving it from somewhere that it once was. So B and C you can rule out because they're destroying or encrypting, kind of similar, in ways. Encrypting, it's still there. It's just protect. It's just not in the same format. But it's really A or D in the same thing where they're taking it and then moving it. A is more specific, so I'd say D is kind of like a definition of exfiltration. You're stealing sensitive information from a network and transmitting it outside of the network. Same thing's happening in A, but it's just a specific example.
Exactly. I agree.
A quick suggestion, if you want. I don't know if you have done anything on Google Duple, the Google AI bot thing
No.
for
What is
your
that?
channel. Whenever you get a chance, I don't want to disrupt the learning, but I would check it out. It's like a AI assistant bot.
Okay.
So it's called Google Dougal.
Let me look it up again.
Bard?